Get ready for the next battle. Get ready for the next battle. Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight. Above you. It's not over yet. Round three. Fight. It's not over yet. Round four. Fight. You win.
明日につながる。
Alexanderson,
作戦開始だ
Kazuyami Shima. Get ready for the next battle. Get ready for the next battle. Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight. Round three. Fight. Round four. Fight. You win.
明日につながる
Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight. Round three. Fight. Shoot! Fight! Round 2. Fight! Round 3. Fight! Round 4. Fight! Final round. Fight! You
俺を
win.
止めることはできない。
Hello? One second. Oh, can you hear me? Hello? Yo, can you hear me? How's it going? I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get this working on the PlayStation, but yeah, no, I'd appreciate any tips anyways. Like, I'm just getting I'm always stuck in red ranks. It's tough out here. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Yeah. That's similar to me. Does like it's like casual couch play with your friends and that, and then once you kind of take it online, it's you see people like maxing out on. Yeah, that's exactly. Mm. Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. Mm. It was too much. Shit. Do you, damn. Do you play pad or do you play stick? Yeah. Same. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Is the replay in like an important function? Would you say? Yeah. Like be able to. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. 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 Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like one wrong move can fuck you up. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Last day or two, I've only kind of like started to understand the frame data. I never really understood frame data too well, but like, yeah, no, yeah, like I said, it used to be always just casual play, so we just never realized about frame data, and then I seen it's like a big deal. I kind of understand how it works. Yeah, like I don't even know what frames my moves are doing. I just kind of have an idea of what works and what doesn't, and then if it like, it's just a lot of yeah, yeah, mm, yeah, yeah, mm. I could get, imagine that. Mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. But the lab, I don't know, it just seems like complicated as well. It's probably not that complicated, but there's like so much like settings you can do now against obviously the opponent in the lab. And then when you look at the moves list, and there's just endless moves, and you know you can click on it and get like a demo of it. But it's yeah, it's hmm, hmm, Yeah. 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 Hmm. Yeah. Didn't go through it. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I have, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. 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 Get angry about it. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 She had to lock in. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Train. Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Putting it together. Mm. Yeah. 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 Mm. Mm. Yeah. Mm. So is it good to do casual? But I never do casual. I'm always doing the ranked because so casual is a good thing to. Mm. Yeah. 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 Because I was worried about running into a lot of like high ranks, like just getting it, and just getting ragdolled. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. 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 Um, Probably the last one that I kind of took a little bit serious was back on 360 and Injustice One, as like a Bane player. So I was pretty good at it. But then after that, I don't know. It was just more like I always wanted to. You'd be watching it on YouTube and that tournaments, and it's just like fighting games just seems like a different kind of like the whole community and everything. It's a lot more kind of together than other games out there. So, but yeah, Tekken 7, like I never really like put into practice and it was pretty late into it when I hopped on it. But so I'm pretty much a newbie to it. But yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and like who is it? Like I don't know. Do you know them on YouTube? RDC. And yeah, seeing them like from what at like Mark stars and then getting to Fusion, and it's just like makes you kind of want to improve at the game. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. That's it. Mm. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah. And see, I like okay, the you know that like dashing electricity kind of thing? Yeah. Like in let's say I'm doing a combo and that kicks off like sometimes I can get confused where I am. Like I think he's like two stances in it. Is he? I'm not sure. Like yeah, sometimes I get confused. Yeah, yeah. That's what happens sometimes. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because now I'm kind of just using like fundamentals with them, and it's getting me by. Like, I think like I'm all, like I might get up to close to 60 damage, like 50 something up to close to 60 damage. And that's like kind of just my combo at the minute. Like if I can get a launcher or something. I can't I can't like I just don't know how to do like any other combos. I think yeah. Hmm. 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 Yeah. But yeah, like I'm kind of like with my Lars, I'm kind of at a point now where unless I go into practice or do something to learn it more, I'm just kind of stuck where I am. But I'm kind of just still moving a bit further, just by going against other people and then getting familiar with, what other characters are doing. That I know how to, defend against it, and then just use the same thing I'm doing, um, to get me matches. Except Eddie, like I can't stand Eddie. Like I just don't know when to stop. I just get nearly perfect a lot of times. Mm. Mm. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Mm, mm, yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, I got you, yeah. Because, like, I am very inexperienced, like, I can't, be expecting myself, like, maybe I just belong in red rank for now until, I just get better at the game. It's just, kind of how, with most games, I'm just, like, wired to, climb the ranks, and really, it's just, yeah, it's not that simple, but, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I, I, like, I do, like, let's say, like, my pretty much my combo always is like, I'm all right at spacing and trying to get them to whiff, and then I'll just do that. Was it up forward four to launch them, and then I'm just doing, yeah, and I'm just doing then 2-1-2, and then forward 2-1-1, and then that's my combo. And then I might just run forward and try and get a low, or then or if I want to just do my lows, I'm just doing down back four, that little sweep, and then sometimes I'll try and do that uppercut to launch them, and I'm just doing that same combo again, or I'll just do another low and just get some small damage, and then back out again. I know a few of his things, like, I'm just putting them together is a different story. Yeah, yeah, and not like I'm not like I should go and check, like, the frames of my moves. So, like, just because I haven't, I'm probably throwing out a lot of unsafe moves from neutral when I don't know, it's like pokes you call it, like, but yeah, 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 Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, no, I got you. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, like it sounds like you obviously know what you're talking about as well, like because like you've kind of talked about different characters, so your experience as well. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'll figure out how to do this. I have my. Is it on Discord? Is it? Mm. Okay. It says sharing their screen. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. I see. I'm playing downstairs, so I'm using Discord on my phone. Oh wait, I think I have it here. Wait. Okay, 1 second. Just trying to figure this thing out. Sharing their screen. It says streaming, but unavailable on console. But can I not just watch it on my phone? Or maybe I switched my chat to my phone maybe, and then I could watch it. Okay, 1 second. Yeah. Alright, let me, how do I change my... Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
you
yeah.
see the video?
Yeah.
This right here.
Analyzing return weaknesses and tech fundamentals.
Right. Now, fundamentals is in the bracket, but
Yeah.
those 4 first things right there, I can analyze my own strength and weaknesses. This is why I don't struggle.
Yeah.
And even when you watch tournament play and everything, sometimes you can clearly tell, you'll be like, oh man, he should have had this or that. Like, even from a general spectator's point of view, so people realize, like, when someone messes up, this video will help you to understand fundamentals and understand how to, whatever you're struggling with, you kind of will just be like, but I know how to fix that.
Yeah.
In a sense. And you'll come back to this, I would advise come back to this video as you like learn different things from it, because when you do come back, you get like a deeper understanding.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead play it right now. You're gonna love this, man. I always feel like people I show this, like they get like somewhat of like a small awakening, especially like depending on their amount of practice they put towards each of these things. You'll see.
Today I want to talk about the topic of analyzing your strengths and weaknesses in order to make yourself a better Tekken player. So as we all know, Tekken is an extremely deep game. The depth allows for so much creativity and diversity in gameplay, right? But the downside is, oftentimes players will, I want to say, they acquire so much knowledge that they overthink things. And they lose sight of what's really important in Tekken. What's really important is I want to talk about this today. I've illustrated a pyramid of sorts where I have fundamental building blocks, and I'm going to go from the bottom to the top. Now before we do that, let's talk about what Tekken is at its most basic level. Tekken is a 3D fighting game. You have high attack, mid attack, and low attack, as well as throws. The basic game plan for Tekken offense is do high jabs to just get in on the opponent, and that leads to other attacks, right? Do a high jab, and then if they're standing guard, do a throw. Or do lows, right? Catch them. Now that you condition them to duck, you start doing mid. And then that's going to scare them into stand guarding again. And then you just repeat the process. As the defender, you would basically have to be saying to yourself, oh, I bet that he's going to come in and do a mid, so I'll just stand guard. Or, I'm guessing that he's going to do a low, so I would just crouch guard. So that's basically Tekken. This most fundamental level. Yes. the thing about this is that you don't want to be guessing all the time. If you wanted to play a game of just guessing, you would play something like rock, paper, scissors. You know? But rock, paper, scissors is not that deep. Well, I mean, it's deep, but it's not... It can get kind of stale, basically, right? Because there's only 3 options, rock, paper, scissors. You just have to guess between those 3. In Tekken, it can get a little bit more deep than that. Because, unlike 2D fighting games, Tekken is probably about, I would say, like 2.5 times slower. Like, the fastest attack in Tekken is like 10 frames. While in 2D fighting games, you can go as fast as 1 frame. So, let's illustrate an example where you can use reactions to defend instead of having to guess. I recorded 2 actions. The first action is Brian's going to do a jab to overwheel, right, up forward 4. And the second option is he's going to do a jab to snake edge, down forward 3. For most beginners, this is a very scary, quote-unquote, mix-up, right? Because, like, it feels like it just comes out so fast. You can do it. But you just spend, like, about 5 minutes practicing. Let's see. Like, I'll show you right now. It's not really a mix-up at all. It's just something that you have to train yourself to see and then react to. So, the thing about this is, you always want to be stand guard. Because mids are usually pretty fast. But then as soon as you see a low, then you start to crouch guard. Because lows are slower, and they're also more dangerous. But they're not dangerous enough that you have to preemptively duck right away. So let me show you right now. So I'm going to press play, and I guarantee you that I'm not going to get hit by snake edge or overwheel at all, because I use my reaction. There you go. It's that simple. I just watching my opponent and then reacting accordingly. I just eliminated a very gimmicky, scrubby mix-up from Brian. It's really that simple. That's reactions, right? Let me add that to the pyramid. Reactions. Notice that underneath these 2 blocks, right, have a brain and a heart. The reason for that is because the left side are building blocks that pertain to the mind. While on the right side, these fundamental building blocks apply to things that require more of your soul. Mind is sort of like reactions, knowledge of like the game mechanics. While the soul is like, hard reads, playing by feel, playing by instinct. I would argue that you need both of these. You need to have a harmony of the mind and the soul in order to become a solid, not just a solid Tekken player, but a solid fighting game player overall. Mind and the soul. These things go hand in hand. You don't want to have too much of the mind. You don't want to have too much of the soul. You want to have a balance. So, we have that. Reactions and guessing. This is the first layer of complexity. Second. Now let's say you fight against someone that is just, I don't want to say a bad player, but for the sake of argument, let's say a bad player, right? And they're just getting so lucky. They're guessing right on everything. You're having a bad day. You know you should be doing better, but you just can't react. Your reactions are too slow. You're guessing wrong. That makes you play on tilt. That makes you guess even worse. You react even slower. But that's where the second level of complexity comes in. Here's where we get to, on the left side, frame data. frame data needs no introduction. I already made a video on frame data. You know about that. So you know how much I love frame data and all. So frame data is the single most important answer against button mashing. Frame data, simply put, is a set of rules governing how moves interact in the game and how they affect you and your opponent. Right? That's basically all frame data is. So let's say like do Brian back 1. On block or on hit, it makes me very plus, right? I'm at advantage. That means I make the opponent recover at a slower rate than me. Because I can recover faster, I'm more light on my feet. I'm less sluggish than my opponent, so I can attack once more if I want to. It's like basically my turn to attack twice in a row. If the opponent were to not respect that and they would just button mash, then they would get hit. And that's fine by me because I'm racking up the damage basically. So that's frame data. On the right side, towards more like the soul side of things, you have spacing. Spacing. This is one thing that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. It's often overlooked. Frame data is sort of like it receives all of the glamour, and spacing is people talk about it, but in a real match, it sort of goes out the window a lot of the time. You know? So people just want to get up close and just do moves, and then once they're out here, they just sort of throw things out and hope that it leads to more frame data situations, right? But that's not how you want to play Tekken. Spacing is the answer against players that avoid the neutral game, or players that have very little understanding of the neutral game.
Just wanted to pause it there because it's pretty cool since you already have that concept of spacing that he's talking about, you know?
Yeah.
He's just like over here breaking it down a little bit more further. It's like, so even though we know it's spacing, it's like still there's an explanation. It's like it breaks down the information more in our heads, you know what I'm saying? It makes it tighter for us.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that he mentions that, and like you already have like the ideas. It was the same thing with me before Tekken 7 and everything. Like I had a idea of spacing from Street Fighter.
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's the frame data sounds important. Like I think I'm actually going to try and just dabble into a bit of it tonight now later. Just see what my moves are on frames and what's safe and what isn't.
Yeah, definitely. And feel free to. I'll also be giving you just like just a small assignment. It's something that I feel will definitely help you out in matches right away. I think you'll have a really fun time actually doing as well. It'll be like a drill.
Yeah.
That I'll have you be doing and everything. Honestly, I need to do it more too. Just like it'll be a good daily routine to be honest. But
Yeah.
you're gonna like it. I'll talk to you about it after the video.
Sounds.
What you do around this range right here, right? The neutral, or players that have very little understanding of the neutral game. The neutral game is what you do around this range right here, right? You don't have an advantage really. You're not applying pressure, and your opponent is not applying pressure. So it's basically equal on both sides. No one's on the defensive, no one's on the offensive. But eventually something has to happen. So the neutral game is basically how you want to direct your energy. So should I start coming in right now? Or should I start retreating? Or should I just continue moving around and doing nothing, waiting for him to come in? It's all about how you direct your energy and how much respect you have towards your opponent at any point during a match. So all that is the neutral game, right? In terms of spacing, well, simply put, spacing is having an awareness of the hit ranges of your character's attacks. So you would know how far a one jab reaches compared to a down back 3, compared to 3 plus 4, or quarter circle back 4, things like that. Each of these moves have a different range. So when you have a good awareness of these, you know how to stay in a good range, and if you're in a bad range, you know to back out right away, stay in a more comfortable, safe range. Fighting at the tip of your sword, at Spencer's, like this. Let me demonstrate an example where you can whip. So, Brian's 3 plus 4, right? Is approximately 2 backdashes long. See? It's not exactly 2, it's a little bit less than 2. Keep that in mind. Conversely, Brian's quarter circle back 2 is exactly 2 backdashes long. So it's a little bit more far reaching than this one. This means that if I create a distance of 2 backdashes, and the opponent does 3 plus 4, the whip, right? And that gives me the opportunity to whip punish with a farther reaching movement. So let's see it in action. So he says punish. Now the second benefit to having good spacing is not really for any like explicit purpose, but it's mostly for peace of mind, right? So so as I said before, for the reaction fundamental building block, is orbital heal and snake edge mix-up is not a good mix-up at all. But one good mix-up of his, which is extremely fast, is the classic mid soccer kick and low soccer kick mix-up. This type of mix-up right here. See? This is just, you can't react to something like this. See? So in this case, you want to use spacing to have peace of mind. Avoid having to guess, avoid having to react altogether. Okay? This is where the second layer of complexity helps make the Tekken experience a little bit easier. So let me show you how this works. So if I stay 2 character backdashes plus just a little bit more, yeah, just a little bit more. So it's like 2.25 backdash, so to speak. And if I duck, actually, yeah, let me duck. If I duck, and Brian does either of those 2 moves, they will whip entirely. See? Do it again. 1, 2, a little bit. Okay. So that hit. We do it again. Like that. 1, 2. See? That's what good spacing does. Good spacing allows you to avoid unseeable mix-ups, really dangerous mix-ups, just by simply being at good distance from your opponent. And as you can see, I got a hit earlier by a mid-soccer kick. That's because I miscalculated the distance. And that's also the reason why, you see here, I put spacing on the soul side of things, right? Match. You're not gonna have 5 minutes to like calculate all the intricate details of these pixels and which pixel distance is the optimal one. It's just Tekken is too dynamic, and the move you and your opponent are moving around too much for you to constantly calculate the ranges. So that's why I say that spacing, you have to feel it out, basically. That's something that you can rely on, and the more you play, the more experience you have, the better feel you have for spacing, as opposed to frame data. Frame data is more concrete than spacing, but they're both very important. Remember that. Both very important on this second layer of complexity. So the third layer of complexity is kind of a follow-up of the second layer. We're just getting more detailed at this point. Let's start off with spacing. That was the last thing we left off with. So, if you want to get more complex than spacing, it would be movement. This is movement is a technical skill. See this Korean backdash that you see right here? I mean, we all understand that, spacing, you have to walk back and walk forward. But this is a little bit too slow in a real match. You have to apply this technical skill of Korean backdashing in order to create space quickly and efficiently in order to become effective at spacing. Now, the most common trap, the rookie mistake that Tekken players go through is they just focus primarily on movement. And they forget why they move in the first place. You don't move just to show off. You move to establish space. If you move and you're not at the correct range to, let's say, whip punish, see? Then this movement is all it's done is give you and your opponent breathing room when you might not want to give your opponent breathing room. You want to keep him on edge, stay relatively close to him, so he doesn't make a mistake. You can capitalize with whip punch, things like that. So that's basically what I want to talk about concerning movement. So now let's talk about the extension to frame data, this is pretty simple to understand. Offensive and defensive options. So what does that mean? Offensive and defensive options. That's basically going through the command lines. Knowing what exactly is a 1-2-1, what exactly is a 1-4, what exactly is a down 4-1, or a down 4-2-1. Like actually visually recognizing these things instead of just looking at a table of letters and numbers. On the flip side, let's see, defensively, it's sort of making the connection between the frame data and the move, right? So if I see that Brian does 4-2-1-4, and I block that, it should be punishable. Or if he does quarter circle back 2-4 raw, I know that the second hit is high, so I can duck it. So offensive and defensive options is basically that. Now we get to the fourth layer of complexity, which is esoteric type of knowledge. This is sort of a umbrella term for anything that you can think of, anything that's extra. Advanced knowledge that is very helpful, but it's not necessary. You don't need it to become a solid Tekken player. Things like weird combos, for example. Or knowing counter hit properties, certain moves, or how to get out of certain stuns, and maybe wake up Okazemi situations, or all of those. These are all esoteric things that eventually learn them if you're a big fan of Tekken, but it's not really necessary. But let me illustrate a good example of when it is kind of helpful in clutch situations. So for example, let's say Eddie, he does a handstand 4, and then he follows up with another handstand 4. Like, in a real match, it's really easy to get covered. But one thing that I learned is if you block the first handstand 4, you can just do a generic down 4. And that interrupts his stance and makes him fall out. So sort of like this. Kind of like that. These things like that is helpful, you know? Little tidbit information like that. Or this is for the law players. If you do while standing 3 DSS throw at the wall, or if you do it fast enough, anywhere on the stage, it can become jelly. So the opponent can't even duck it. You know? Things like that. But esoteric Tekken knowledge can become very, very complex very fast. Like it can become so extra, you know? For example, did you know that if Law does a slide at the wall, and then while on the ground he does a down 4, you know, wall slide? Like, you don't really need to know that, but I know that because I just want to, you know, it's fun for me. But it just depends on, you know, how far you really want to go. So that's it for esoteric Tekken knowledge. The fifth and final layer of complexity is in mind games. Mind games is when you get into an opponent's head and you do seemingly irrational things to a spectator's point of view, but because your opponent is really messes up their way of thinking. And it can prove to be pretty effective if done right. The greatest example of this is if you go on YouTube and you look up Cody versus Just Spring James. I think there's a match of them playing in Tekken Tag 2 final round or something like that. And you'll see how the epitome of playing by the book versus playing by the field. A classic battle, you know, between rationality and irrationality. Personally for me, I don't really delve into the world of mind games that much, but I appreciate it a lot, for sure. Because one aspect of mind games is in rhythm, and how you change up your timing. It's also called like delay catching, I feel. So, let me show you one example of changing up one's rhythm. People say that Law's Junkyard mix-up is pretty bad, and you shouldn't use it at a high level. But regardless of that, I still use it anyway, because you can delay the stream, so you can do that. And you can also not go into Junkyard at all. This creates a mind game of mental frame advantage, because the threat of the low is coming, but it never comes. And so your opponent will freeze up anyways, giving you a bit of like respect and frame advantage that doesn't really exist. That's why they call it mental frame advantage. Other times I'll do back 2, wait a little bit, and then I'll do a low. Or I'll do a back 2, then wait a little bit, then do a low. As you can see, just by changing up my timing, it's almost like I created different moves. And that's the power of rhythm and delay catch. Okay, so now let's tie back everything that we learned together and go back to the original goal of how to analyze your strengths and weaknesses. So let's do this. Let's say that you're a Yoshimitsu player that just has good mind games and esoteric knowledge. You have sword sweep setups. You have this thing where you run up to your opponent, do a move, and then do flash afterward. You can make the opponent freeze up so much that at the end of the round, you can do a blocking setup. All that. These are going good, but then you run into an opponent that that knows all your tricks, or at least doesn't fall for it. They know the holes in Yoshimitsu's strings, and when you do get up for a mix-up, they can backdash away from it, so it renders your mix-ups obsolete. This results in you losing. At this point, you can stubbornly continue your habits, or you can be humble, take a step back, think about why you lost. At this point, you can peel back one layer of complexity and work on your offensive and defensive options and your movement. Let's say you run into the same corner again, but this time, instead of using all your strings, you just use part of the string, play more compact, and you move with the opponent. And so, that creates a little bit more pressure on the opponent, and it makes you a stronger player in the process. Alright? So let's say things are going good again, but now you run into an opponent that has impeccable spacing, and they can pressure you with plus frame moves in such a way that it makes you want to retaliate, and they can whip punish you for that, and they can punish you really hard. They can outpoke you every single time because they know the ranges of the attack. You lack that knowledge at this point, so that results in you losing as well. At this point, you take a step back again, and you learn frame data, spacing. With these two building blocks, you're able to fight that opponent, that same opponent, but this time you're able to lock him down. You prevent him from gaining space to apply his game. Play in such a way that you can apply your game. And things are good once again. But now you run into someone that has extremely crazy reactions. Like, I'm talking, they can react to all your seeable lows. They can get right on your unseeable lows. They can low parry everything. They can break throws very well. At this point, once again, I would say you want to go back to the core fundamentals of reaction to guessing. The difference this time, though, is that you're aware of the harmony between mind and soul. Before all this, right, if you were to make a hard read, you would just hope that it would work. But this time, you truly believe in your read. You believe that it will work. That's the key difference right here. When you have all this knowledge and you boil it down to pure reactions and guessing, it actually makes you react better and guess better. Because you have experience of situational, like you're aware of dangerous scenarios and situations. And all this experience, it really does internalize inside of you. It doesn't seem like it, but it really does. I think that's basically all I want to talk about. Yeah. So in conclusion, I'm not trying to speak negatively about complexity, right? In fact, if Tekken was too simple and bare bones, it would be less fun. But the point that I want to drive home is the fact that you can't sharpen the fundamentals too much. There's always room. You know? Whenever you're feeling lost, always go back to fundamentals. But the first step in sharpening those fundamentals is in realizing that you do need to do it. Is in realizing that you are weak in that area. Right? I'm not the best Tekken player, you know. I win a good amount of matches, but I also lose a good amount of matches. But the difference between me and the average online player is that I know why I win and why I lose. Whenever I play, I don't play to win, but I play to become a better version of myself. You know? And that sounds very like philosophical and all that, but you know, I feel like there is a lot of truth in it. You don't want to cloud your mind with unnecessary emotions and thoughts. You want to have a clear mind, a simple mind, and play with a creative optimism. You know? And once you have that attitude, you can really begin to grow. Yeah. So I think that's basically all I wanted to talk about. I think I rambled on long enough. Yeah, definitely. This is Cut CC signing out. I'll see you in the next video.
That was interesting.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. I like how he broke it down though, like he put it to kind of levels and, you know, which, you know, the guessing compared to reactions. Yeah, no, it was definitely an interesting video.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of this is what people are honestly missing, man. And it really the simplest thing that I was ever told was from a girl player, to be honest. Never knew they were a girl. But she could play Asuka too, and Lily. This was when I was playing Tekken 7 on PlayStation. And she can sit there, man, and kick my ass. She just knew Asuka, you know?
Yeah.
And funny enough, she said she had like some training with Cuddlecore.
Who? Oh, that's another player.
And Cuddlecore is like probably one of the best female players in the world at Tekken.
Jeez.
Right now, at least. Her listen really powerful. Yeah. But she wasn't that person who I called like my first sensei and everything. She wasn't like a crazy player or nothing like that, but she was very like patient with her knowledge and what she had at the time.
Yeah.
It was really interesting because she was also the one who told me that mostly the thing about rank is that people will kill themselves if you allow them to. So when you take that into perspective, it's a buff that you should apply in your playstyle. Because in Tekken 8 as well, a lot of people have this misunderstanding that the whole, you know, what Karate wanted, the whole point of the game was to be a more aggressive playstyle. Sure, in a way, but at the same time, I've learned that we've always should, like most players as it is, don't play the game like in a spontaneous manner. Most players will learn their character in such a like skilled manner where they're also like, you know, bits of it involves that movement. They're so good at like pressuring you per se that they know within that setup somewhere they can step in between that and get like the perfect launch on you if you don't know the frames in that situation.
Yeah.
But the moment you know, disrupt them, you know, players will break apart, especially people who hate turtlers and everything, because I got called out for turtling a lot in the past because players honestly just don't know what to do outside of a situation where they're not in charge.
Yeah.
They break down and they want to do something, but imagine me being a player that knows that now. I know you want to do something. I'm planning on waiting to see what you're going to run up with. And hopefully I don't just throw, you know, like wood or something, God forbid, but like, you know, plan like maybe a down for a two catch or something like that the moment you run into a certain space. Like if I think you're just gonna run in and press a button, I can get an easy launch like that, and if you run up and block, I'm still safe at least.
Yeah.
Type of deal. You know, a lot of players just don't like have that knowledge, like even of just things from this video, which could honestly boost their gameplay tremendously if they you know, just understood those like 4 building blocks right there, like guessing and stuff, dude. Like in Street Fighter, oh my god. Like yeah, the frames are fast as shit. A lot of people would say that, but like it's because of Street Fighter that I was able to deal with Akuma better than I would say the general populace that complains about him in Tekken 7.
Mm.
Like, oh man.
Like Street Fighter
don't-
sharpens your reactions. Is
Yeah,
there?
I always felt like when you play 2D games, like, bro, like, and you thought about that, right? And then you just think, like, okay, well, Tekken's a little bit slower. You know what I mean? Like, you really, like, at least you put a little bit more focus into, you know, what's happening to you when you are, you know, blocking everything.
Yeah.
You know, you try to, right? And that's where the whole reaction training thing comes in. Because I did a fair bit of reaction training, like, you know, here and there with some characters in Tekken 8, like a little bit with Azucena, who honestly, who I haven't, depending on when I first started on Tekken 8, my homeboy gifted me this game when I first started playing. That's when I first started labbing, really, Azucena. Like, I labbed how to play her, but I labbed also how to defend against it. So I had, like, you know, in training mode, Azucena versus Azucena. To me, I feel like that makes the most sense when you're learning a character. If you're going to learn how to play that character, you should learn how to, you know, your weaknesses, not only, like, you know, just for your sake and frames, like I can get launched for this, but, like, what if you run into a situation in the mirror, you're probably going to get better reactions if you do it in the lab.
Yeah.
Well, and I knock all that stuff out in, like, one go when I'm going through the move list of characters and stuff like that, and that goes back to when we were talking about, like, characters having, like, certain similar moves and everything between each other. And just, like, that's why knowing the move list, when you get through your character's move list fully, and, like, you understand, like, you can hit every input without dropping any input. If you did, it was, like, out of, you know, anxiousness and, like, in the fight and whatever. And, like, you know, I fat figure things all the time, bro. I'm trying to, like, break a grab. I press 2 buttons with my thumb instead. So, you know, like, man, like, I need to slow down sometimes. Like, I don't really be mashing on my controller, but in a sense, I've learned to kind of play like I am in a way, but it's because I know, like, I understand my frames and everything. Like, when I'm chasing someone down, I'll do a mid check, and the difference of me continuing my pressure or not, it depends on whether or not that down forward one hit confirmed or not. You know, whether it hit you or whether you blocked it. Because that's the difference between being plus or negative right there. So more than likely, if I see that it gets blocked, I'm more than likely to either step or power crush that is.
Yeah.
You know. But people don't usually play with that procedure. And even though I play with that procedure, the whole idea is that I'm doing it subconsciously in a way at this point. I've learned to have that, you know, spontaneousness in my offense and defense. And he has another video on that as well. Where, yeah, it kind of filled in things for me. Because it filled in things, I say it filled in things for me. Because really I learned my lesson playing with somebody in another game. I learned that lesson from another game playing with somebody. Dragon Ball Fighters, man. I learned the lesson there. Because I actually was practicing characters in there. I got good combos and stuff. I got one-touch combos and everything too, but like my movement and everything isn't like on a professional level. Mediocre. I understand like things like instant air dash and 2D games and stuff like that, or at least in that game.
Yeah.
I can't still combos, you know, like some of the advanced ways of combos. I would feel like it's some practice, but it's really hard. Especially with my laptop. Those frame drops I was speaking about, I have them in practice mode, so my practice actually gets hindered a lot through that too. I get FPS drops in both. I had that since like Tekken 7, my practice mode. Tekken 7 and Dragon Ball Fighters was like FPS drop, but it was the worst in fighters because you know your combos have to be like extensive.
Yeah.
So like, man, yeah.
Just give me 2 seconds. I just have to let my dog go to the toilet. 1 sec. I'll only be 2 seconds.
Alright.
Yeah, okay, I'm back. But yeah, you were saying anyways about the frames and fighters.
Yeah, like the combos being so excessive and broad, like the frame drops would come in between the combos, basically.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
have to try a lot more times than I needed to just to get a good practice session. It's pain, man.
I'd imagine. Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever play on console or were you always on PC? Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
One of my closest, like, I wouldn't say that she was a teacher. I would say they were teachers in a way, but they guided her.
Yeah. Yeah.
playing the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
That's how I get caught up a lot. I'll like whether I'm slowing myself down or maybe like engage with my opponent, you know, that's their plan. I don't need like I can feel it in my head sometimes like you know, the importance to their plan. That's you know you can have stuff, you know. You always have to have like somewhat calculated movement, but you have warning every now and then, you know, being successful. For example, where you just, you know, kind of like back and forth, but successful in your character will be the way where it's not working at you.
Yeah.
They don't know when you're going to attack.
Yeah.
And you can use that kind of measure your distance, measure your opponent's timing, and everything like that. That's something I would say I can get more information with what I try with my options a lot. Or say mid combo rush. And a lot of times, a lot of people that does fine. I know die. You know what I mean? And they don't get that potential because I time it well enough where it gets the gun up. But the more I use that measure. I'll and I'll like I think more gas and combo more gas so it's like after that
Yeah.
I'm doing it real quick. So yeah, it will actually hurt. And whether I need it or not, it's like personality. For me, all the learning, like learning, like what you do is going to get carried with the person. You will have that peak down. So you are gauging, you know, your opponent's timing and everything. A lot of times I'll be on it. A lot of times that change like that. I would run up at him a certain distance and I would hit the brakes. Meaning, I know like where his comfort zone was his boat. I'm gonna run to the very edge of that barrier and get that man to the track.
Yeah. Do it.
Yup. A lot of people aren't aware that you're looking out for stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you just wanna run at him.
A question. Like, sorry, no, like I'm, you know, quite inexperienced. But have you helped other people who'd be kind of as inexperienced as myself? Because I know you know, I don't know the trend and all that. Which you know, I'll try and learn. But like, yeah. You know, I was a bit worried I was like too inexperienced where I might throw myself into something where.
Because everyone starts, you know, have a certain level, like you might already be better at, you know, certain things, like you have your combos already, they're already good. Or you
Yeah.
might be better at that thing, you might have the combos still at a certain level, and the opponent doesn't. And that's the difference there.
Yeah.
You know, what it really comes down to, can you, I would say, like, style. So I like players like play against this stuff, like especially in tournaments. Every match is like great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
every day, not just like,
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him. Like,
Mm. Yeah. Give up like mid-match. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of players may have been derailed about that. I know which one to shout. So I took the shout and put it back down. Like, no, let's not pick up. I think so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that, if I don't see that, I can go back for her to do that back there for me. Because some child you will just, they'll straight up press. Like, if you play child you, like, they'll straight up press you. Where they go in the back there and then they like, you to press, they look inside of and you're the one in there, and you're like,
Yeah.
it always happens like that, bro. It always happens like that. But knowing that happens like that, yeah, that's kind of massive, You're like, you're not going to let that happen the second time. You're going to block it.
Yeah.
We know. Don't feel like we know something is coming. That's where a lot of the playing, where a lot of us play by skill players, we were driven off of all these kids playing like that. So I totally get it. You play by skill player, like, you kind of have, like, some here and there after playing those 3 years.
Yeah. What would you say though would be a good thing for me to kind of work at?
Honestly, understanding of, do you have a badass skills already? Understanding for you about that?
I've looked it up before and I tried to do it, and yeah, it wasn't right. Like I'm moving now. Like I don't even think I'm doing it properly. But like all I'm doing is like back, down, back, down.
Yeah.
The down I'm guessing is the cancel.
Not bad at all. Yeah. The cool thing, there's one thing you missed, it was going to be the cool thing here, how we'll end up, we reference the drills I was talking about here.
Yeah.
That is going to actually improve. You can add this on top of the movement you have already without having the actual feedback that.
Mm.
Honestly, I can go ahead and show you this on the Tekken 7 one.
Yeah. There he goes.
Yeah, I know you're gonna like them.
Okay.
This was actually what my co-captain as far as the introduction to her and everything. And then I say I doubt her that it is by like because I was already kind of like a terrifying option, right? But he came to a point where it really was like
Lars Alexander says
作戦開始だ
Kazuya Mishima.
work on, stepping myself. So, a little bit of time, maybe like a week or two after that, I run into this person, I call coach. And what they have me do is this drill with Nina in practice mode, right? This is what legitimized me for them as well.
Get ready for the next battle.
Or Live with Luna and this girl like to a lot. My background
Yeah, I watched someone on YouTube. What's her name? Lisa. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah.
So the training will put it on defense,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go here's the CPU active.
Yeah.
And so the first block here will go to record. And for this drill, what we're going to have Tina do for this exercise is jab down for one. Because what this exercise will be about is going to your own hazardous it was back down and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the basic movement too I learned when I was first starting out in that's what I didn't know for like years, honestly. So I got also just like such a simple thing, right? And probably just this without even realizing it, but you're probably gonna think about it deep, like just knowing it now, just like that's so simple, but like yeah. Besides the block. Besides the block, so like what I did was
Yeah.
Like down 4-1, wearing jersey, and nothing grab. Like what? So let's show you a demonstration here of me doing side step box with people. As you can see, jab, jab, crash. Wow, that's tough. Get out of here. That's not that's funny. I turned down 4-1 for a second. Oh, yo, okay, so these are the weird angles. Hey, there's no way, man. Got it. Yeah, okay. So her down 4-1 first, while mine is like, that's cool. What? So that's the video. First go right here. That is one.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, so much. I'm -2. Yeah, -3 whether I just jab or down. She gets plus her down.
So even if you block hers, she's still plus.
Yeah. And I think it's really just practice. Right? Nothing that, yeah, like, -1 or actually just knowing that is really important. That's what
Yeah.
it's like, nothing that's like, that they've already, signed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this rap. Yeah, I did a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So this would be a good drill for me to do, is it? Like get the side step, is it?
Yeah, the whole what side of the one? On the daily, yeah.
So and that's just sidestep and then hold back, is it?
Holding back after like right because then say what this will sharpen you again is recording here. So let me put this on the other side. This song will help balancing atmosphere.
Hmm.
So this will be a good one. But I just sad I don't have a bad dad chance, so we'll need to play this out. I kind of have a bad dad. So. I wanted to really get like a jab there. Something like that. Let's see how that even looks. So, bro, if I had a bad dad, because he's a backstory character, you know?
Yeah.
Comes to bad dads on her, right, and fall and stuff like that, would do if it wasn't for that backstory. Oh! It's gonna look real like, sure. Ooh, bro, I swear if I did it right, this is gonna take my head off. Nice. Yeah. So, like, a lot of situations there, right, probably somebody would have not have been, of course, that patient, like, patient,
Yeah.
maybe even try to interrupt, but, like, without knowing what you're trying to interrupt and everything, and without knowing how to move in his system, stuff like this, that's where most people end up just getting clipped and all that.
Yeah.
So the drill that you should be doing with Nina is at least 5 times and everything. Have her set up, jab it down for one repeat for about I would say 10 seconds is good enough, and as much time as you want, and just stop right after that.
Yeah.
You know, on the recording. But the whole thing you're trying to break down for that is understanding how fast you have to flip something and hit the back button after that.
Yeah.
You know, after the step to get a successful step block versus, you know, like we saw, her down for 1+ on the block, but we're able to step that better than the jab that is negative on the block
Yeah.
and everything. And that's all because one has a better practice problem than the other. Um, when I did training myself, it kind of expanded my mind a little bit too. So it's like good to really like be a little bit optimistic about the learning process. Try to learn like through the drill itself, like concepts of like what you're doing yourself. Cause like when I was doing it, I'm like it taught me things like beyond what I was being, taught in the drill myself.
Yeah.
They're like I was like, oh okay, like I get like now I get like when I'm being pressured basically and everything like that, I go through the kind of honesty, yeah, but those moves are like lower in frame that you're more than likely to get successful stuff if they're
Yeah.
in between what they're doing. But it also depends, like they can hit you with stuff like that,
Yeah.
but you have this awareness now where all the jabs type range stuff, it's not touch up or something. You're really waiting to react, their character animation on the flow into that speed, and or whether the screen, you notice the screen recognize and you laugh in time recording, duck the screen, and finally like duck that shit, waiting on it, all that,
Yeah.
type of stuff before the king throws out like his back one too, which I should have punished on this player that was being very, I don't know, like not cocky or anything, man, but like I was telling like it's kind of hard to punish, somebody with imagine like over 100 feet.
Yeah.
They were like a Texas guy team. I was like, I promise you, like, I was breaking down the whole gameplay because I was so mad. I was like, bruh, I was like, yo, back, so I saw you do that camp in the back. So I would have thought you would have the big not like so big.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, and I was like, at least I'm being humble to it, saying GG's about it. They were the ones that were telling me like, yeah, all this and down. I'm like, bruh, look, like, fuck you. But anyway,
Yeah.
we can leave it there. Just online is rough. Especially when me having to play on Wi-Fi, it's like, it's not that way. Like, don't stress about it because I know it's hard to like run their controllers as well as hard to like that. I don't really stress about it. They like their people have their own reasons. Know why they do things and why they play Tekken and stuff. Why we sometimes like have a talk. What happens like game.
Yeah.
Really like like literally to this multiplayer in 7 that and I feel so bad for them because they told me because I was wondering why they were like harassing they were like getting kicked out of the lobby because they weren't trying to really play with anybody. Anytime they were supposed to lose in the match, back to the lobby. That was weird. Nobody out and not that's only there. And I was pretty sure they had like
Yeah.
they have to go they probably kept they back up hopefully back up. But the reason behind it was sad, bro. They said that they were visible like I was like, oh my god. They're not actually like they weren't actually injured. Everybody decides like actually oh thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I should go into Xavier. I just kind of learned to like, just like combo just by, doing in-game. So, if I do like 1, 2, and then just go down to and do it like that. I know, yeah, I should go into music and have a look what ones we have. Just completely. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I need. Yeah, I need to work on that a bit. Like just not, like you also blocking, not like doing the whole string. And yeah, you have the stop one. And it's yeah. What you were saying there? Yeah. Or when I'm just like stuck in it as well, like where you move back. So I'm trying to get out of that since I moved forward. So I'm just like dashing back and forth. I'm just ready to get moving. Yeah. I think my phone might die in a minute. I'm trying to charge it while I'm on it, but I'm actually not really going up with the screen charger. Just in case, if I disappear, like, yeah, I think so, guys. Yeah. No, I'll definitely drop my mind there. It's good to kind of have like a direction, like conceptual direction, and do that. It's not the same as when you have to use really good skills to get something model to do. At least I have something else to practice. Heaven. Heaven. Oh, right. Okay. I've never heard that name over here. Yeah. Yeah. My name is Aaron. Yeah, I appreciate the talk today. I love you doing. Thank you for actually good thing. Perfect. Yeah, so yes.